Directors are necessary for every project. They have an idea and they guide others to fulfill their vision. There are directors for many things: movies, games, construction, sites, cinematic universes, literally shows, everything. And much like most things, you can have good directors, great directors, kind of okay directors, and just bad direction. In a movie context, you can always spot a bad director by poor writing, shots, cinematography, visual styles. Most of the things that end up being in the project come from bad or good direction. But overall, bad directing usually always leads to bad performances. A good example of this is the prequel trilogy. You had such a strong cast with people like Samuel L. Jackson, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, but the writing overall just lacked emotion, despite them being naturally good actors. Often, you can even tell if it's a great director by merely just a shot or a scene. And that brings me to the topic of what I wanted to talk about today, which is a director I found scrolling through Instagram Reels one morning. Cory Baka. The scene I was introduced to was an old man in the background of a shot beating his head with a brick and pleaded to someone to not forget about him.
Is Reese forgetting about me again?
He's been forgetting a lot lately.
Don't forget about me, Reese!
He has a condition.
Why are you forgetting about me?
It's not his fault.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Don't forget about me! Don't forget about me!
Who are you? What the fuck?
I remember being shocked and disgusted, but out of morbid curiosity, I searched for the source of the scene and found it was from a short film called The Chair, directed by Cory Baka. I ended up watching it as soon as I could, and I really enjoyed it. I remember just sitting there shocked and a bit confused because I just wasn't expecting that from a YouTube short film. But I also didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. In fact, I enjoyed it so much I pretty much introduced it to all of my friends, watching it multiple times and understanding it more with each rewatch. Enough to the point where I saw all the little details and I understood the short film more than most people. I could have probably written up a huge think piece analysing it, but I just don't want to. Now, I'll try not to spoil it, but of course, I insist before you carry on with this video, you should probably watch it. It's free. Just literally Google it, it'll come up. And of course, rewatching this one movie over and over again, it was a matter of time before I ended up watching some of his other work. To my surprise, the level of quality from his other short films matched that of The Chair. Usually when you find an artist, it's very likely that their other projects just don't really hit the same. They don't scratch that same itch as the thing that introduced you to them. But when it does, in the rare cases, it always feels great. And that's when I decided to make a whole video glazing him. Now, I mentioned before how good directors can tell stories with just a single shot. So I'm going to show you an example of Cory Baka doing that. Here's a shot from the short film Warnings, which came out in 2023. What can you see from this specific freeze frame? Well, first focusing on the foreground, there are two characters, side to side, and one of them is holding a note. He looks rather confused. The other has his back turned to the camera and is looking at said note. Both are in costumes, so there's probably some type of event, probably like a party. If you actually do watch the short film, it is a Halloween party. Judging from the background, they're in a modern house and it's nighttime. The baby blue LED lights convey suspense, and the rest of the kitchen being shrouded in darkness shows the idea of the unknown and rather just the big mystery of the situation. Do you see how so much is communicated in a single frame? A good director knows how to fill a frame with things that tell the story by existing. Think show, not tell. So let's look at another frame and see if you can tell the story from it. Now, I'm going to be honest. The answer is there is no answer. It's an impossible task. But I guarantee you this singular frame made you feel some type of emotion. Bringing me on to my second point. Baka not only excels at being a good director, but he also is a great artist. He causes you to feel emotion, whether it's disgust, confusion, thrill, joy, or even fear. But what puts him above other directors for myself? What is it that makes him take the number one spot? Well, it brings me back to The Chair. Once again, go watch the short film if you haven't already. I'm actually going to talk about spoilers this time, so you go. At this point in the story, our main character, Reese, played by Anthony Pavone, has found a chair on the street and has decided to bring it home along with some flowers, celebrating his anniversary. The chair didn't really land well with his significant other, Julie, played by Haley Schwartz. As a result, they ended up having an argument, and mid-argument, Reese finds himself waking up in the chair that he found on the street that he found it at. Shocked and confused, he decides to go home, leaving the chair in the street that he found it. To his surprise, Julie comes to the door with the chair. Confused, he ends up questioning her, and she reveals that he's been a bit of a cunt the past week and has gone on and on about this chair. It then dawns on Reese he is missing an entire week from his memory. A week where he wasn't himself. So, with that news, he decides to go to sleep. And for some reason, the chair is in the room with him. And this happens.
Fuck.
That right there is what sold me on Baka. That scene itself. You will fail to find that in other short films. The combination of amazing acting from everyone, cinematography, and music makes this scene tower above all else.